Alright, so I got this question from someone. This is a pond in the form of a rectangle and two semicircles, where some of these measurements have been given and other measurements have not. Alright, this would be a protective fence around the pond. And they say that the area around the pond is paved with bricks. So the first question says, a protective fence must be erected around the pond. Determine the perimeter to be covered by the fence. And they tell you to use the formula perimeter is 2 times length plus breadth. Right, so the length and breadth are respectively 24 and 32 meters. We're just going to substitute that into our formula, 24 and 32. And then you type it into your calculator or work it out by hand. It gives you 112. It is going to remain meters because meters is just, we're just calculating a length of fence. Alright, in the next question they tell you that 5 liters costs this much, 10 liters of paint costs this much, and 20 liters of paint costs this much. They tell you that 1 liter of paint covers 1 coat for 3 square meters. I am assuming that the depth of the pond is 1 meter because I'm not seeing that in the question, but they must give that to you in the question. They are asking us to calculate the area of the walls of the pond. Alright, so first I'm going to work out the perimeter of this entire shape. Alright, and then I'm going to multiply it by 1 meter because it's the length of the shape multiplied by its depth to get the area of the walls. So, firstly, we need to count the number of 2 meter sections. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So those sections, I'm going to say perimeter, there are 8 2 meter sections. Then we want to work out the perimeter of this half circle and this half circle. But together they make the same, they make one full circle, correct? With a diameter of 10 meters, which means that its radius is 5 meters. Reminder that the radius is half of the diameter. So I'm going to work out the circumference of that one circle. Right. The formula for the perimeter of a circle is 2 pi r. Now let's say they tell you that pi is 3,142. We are going to substitute that with 2 times 3,142 multiplied by the radius, which is 5. 8 times 2 is 16 meters. The last thing I want to do is get these walls. They tell us it's 10 meters and 10 meters. So there are 2 sections that are 10 meters. 2 times 10 meters. Now that's for the outside perimeter. I am assuming that we also need to paint this interior wall here, which is again the circumference of a circle, but in this case the radius is 3. So it's again 2 times 10 and 2 times pi times r, the second circle and the first circle. So it's pi times that 3 meter disk. Alright, I'm going to type that into my calculator. Alright, I've typed it into my calculator. That gives us a perimeter of 86,272. Alright, meters. And I am going to work out the area of the walls by taking that perimeter and multiplying it by the depth of the pond, which I said I'm assuming is 1 meter, but they are supposed to give that to you in the question. So 86,272 meters multiplied by 1 meter of depth, and I'm going to round it off to 2 decimal places. It's 86,27 meters squared. But we're not done, because they asked us to work out how many liters we need. Alright? 1 liter covers 1 coat of 3 meters squared. So I want to see how many 3 meters squared blocks are in this. So the number of liters is the area that we need to paint divided by the area that 1 liter covers. I'm going to divide that by 3 and again round it off. It should give you 28,76. Let's double check that. Yep. 28,76 liters are required. In the next question, they're asking you to determine the tin size of paint that is cheapest per liter. So first I'm going to work with the 5 liter tin. It is 5 liters at 475 Rand. So I'm going to work out the cost per liter. So I'm going to divide by 5 and divide by 5 to get 1 liter at 95 Rand. Alright, the next one is the 10 liter tin, which is 10 liters at 580 Rand. So to work out the cost per liter, I need to divide by 10. So 1 liter at 58 Rand. That's a lot cheaper. And then 20 liters. I have 20 liters at 998 Rand. I'm going to divide by 20 on both sides. And that will give me 1 liter at 49 Rand and 90 cents. Alright, that means that the 20 liter tin is the cheapest. They ask you to provide advice on the tin that will be the most economical. Now, obviously, we want to aim to use the 20 liter tin because it is the cheapest. Alright? However, we only need 29 liters roughly. We need you're going to have to round it up to the nearest round number because it only gets sold in 5 liters, 10 liters, and 20 liters. So we need 30 liters. Obviously, you want to buy 1 20 liter tin. And then we want an additional 10, correct? So is it cheaper to buy 20 liters or 1 10 liter? It makes more sense to buy an additional 10 liter because this will be more expensive and we will have more waste, right? So I would say buy one 20-liter and one 10-liter tin to minimize cost and waste of product. Assuming that they only do one layer of paint or one coat of paint. They did not tell us otherwise. Now we could, for example, have also considered one 20-liter and two 5-liters, but two 5-liters are going to work out a lot more expensive than one 10-liter.